All right, so today I want to talk about job interviews. I luckily have not been on a job interview now more than 7 years due to having been in the same company for that amount of time, as well as also starting online stuff. Let me fix this. Okay. There we go. That's better. So most people do job interviews wrong. I've had the unfortunate experience of having people and friends, family members and friends who have just, like they've been in jobs for a long time, they lost their jobs and just don't know what to do. The old way of doing things is like they can't figure out why it's not working. So I went to school, I got a degree, I got a resume, I even have some work experience, and maybe I'm even getting called in for some interviews, and I'm just not getting the job. And then they come with all the reasons why they didn't get the job. I'm too old, I'm too unqualified, they only want people who are younger than me, and all these limiting beliefs that really are just, they're crap, they're wrong. The reason you didn't get the job is because something that you did. Now, what I'm going to talk about in the video today are there are two things that you can do these in your next job interview, if you're looking for a job right now, that I can't 100% guarantee, but I guarantee that if you apply these things, you will get a job faster, because you will get just statistically, you're gonna get a job much faster because you'll find the right company that these will work on. Okay, so let's talk about what people usually do that's wrong, right? So I'm gonna skip the whole resume and kind of prospecting part of this. Maybe I'll make a different video on that in the future. But when you actually get into the interview, okay, I've had the experience of interviewing people, and I'll tell you from the other side, one of the things that I'm telling you, if anyone had done these things to me, I would have hired them on the spot. No one does this. No one does this. You got to stand out, and here's what you need to do to stand out. Okay, so the first step that people do wrong, right, is they start talking about, okay, you sit down, the interview, you kind of do your introductions, you shake hands, etc., and then what happens is the first question that the interviewer will ask, this is important, because you want them to ask the first question. You don't want to jump in and start asking questions yet. You can start pulling the psychological tricks on them later on in the interview. But they're going to ask you, tell us about yourself, okay? And people, this is mistake number one. They start launching into their basically life and or job history. Well, I grew up in this town, and I went to high school here, and then I graduated, and I went to this college, and I majored in this, and then I went to that college and got my master's degree, and then I got a job here, and I worked in this kind of, high-level topic, field, whatever. I worked in finance, and now I'm looking for my next opportunity. Right? This is like what most people do. Okay, I guarantee you, like 9.9 out of 10 people, okay, don't check my math there, do this. Okay, so here's what you're going to do instead. Okay, here's what you're going to do instead. They're going to tell us about yourself. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick 3 things. Okay, and you're going to have these planned beforehand. Okay, and here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, in my career, I've worked as X, and when I worked for this company, I was able to do Y. And what you want to do is you want to have specific things that you did that either increased revenue, saved money, or had some type of impact on the business. Okay? And you want to list 3 things. I know for me personally, I can talk about, so I worked in packaging design. So I worked in I can say something like I designed retail packaging to support a national launch, and the first chain store we went in, we outsold the competition, even though we were on the bottom shelf, right, based on the packaging design. That's number one. The other one is we also supported packaging in e-commerce, and we worked to optimize the e-commerce packaging design to be able to save almost $1 million a year with zero impact on customer experience, right? So these are the type of things you want to be able to pull out. Either something that's going to make money, that's going to save money, or it's going to have some type of an impact on the business. I was a person responsible for, if you're working in finance, let's say, doing the financials in preparation for the meetings that eventually enabled the company to be purchased, right? So you want something like that. I would say 2 to 3, okay, not more than 3, but 3 is a good number to choose. And when they ask you, tell us about yourself, that's what you want to open up with. You want to do something impactful right off the bat, something that's going to be like it's going to hit home. Like, okay, this is someone who gets stuff done. Because the other thing that's important to understand, if somebody's looking to fill a job, they're in pain right now. Okay, this is a very important point to realize. If someone's looking to fill a job, they're in pain right now. They're looking to solve a problem in their business, and they're hoping to fill that with specific skills so they no longer have this pain, right? So if you can come in right off the bat, this is kind of like you're creating desire for you to fill that role. Okay, so that's issue number 1 that I see people do. And the second thing, what was the second thing? I'm trying to remember now, actually. The first thing was to make sure you get okay, fine. Here's the other thing. This one's great. Okay, I'm telling you, anybody asking me this, I would hire them on the spot. So the way the interview goes is that you're gonna talk about yourself. Again, these 3 things. Okay, keep it short. Really keep it short. You don't want to spend 1 minute on each item. Say what it is. Go into details. You can even preface it by saying there are 3 major accomplishments I'm very proud of in my career. Here's what they are, right? And lead off and talk about it that way. Then you're going to start asking them about the position a bit. Fine, so tell me about this role and tell me about this position you're trying to fill. Now, it's important, by the way, that when you finish up, you want to actually kind of get in control here a bit. So you want to talk and you want to say, here are the 3 things that I have. Okay, now tell me a bit about the position, because it's also, you want to be like you're interviewing them. Now, what you've done here, which is great, you've created desire for you and yourself, and if they're not the right fit, they're not the right fit at this point. If you say something that doesn't speak to them, and these are your skills, you don't want to work for them, right? You're kind of, you want to switch and be like, I'm qualifying you now. So you say, tell me about this position, right? See if it's something that's interesting for me to pursue. And they will tell you about the position, and they'll generally be very vague and high level and stuff like that. So you want to really start asking as many questions as possible. Okay, ask questions. Okay, so what does that mean? Like, how does it work right now? It's a good question to ask. We're trying to fill this position, do X, Y, Z. Well, how does that work now? Okay, that will generally open them up, particularly if you're interviewing the person who's actually like going to be managing this position. Because, oh my God, like we're having so many problems right now. This is great. So the pattern that you're doing now is you're creating desire, and now you're opening up and you're making them. You're kind of like scratching the wound here a bit. Like you're talking about all the issues and all the problems that they're experiencing in their business, which they're trying to do. Now, what you're doing also again psychologically here is you're starting to move them towards the idea that you're potentially the person who can fill this position. Okay, so ask a lot of questions. Tell me more is also a good thing. Like literally, this part of the interview, you shut up. Ask questions, let them answer, and then you just shut up. Tell me more is a good way to kind of get them to tell you more. And then again, silence. Have silence here. Okay, so then after you've gotten to this point, right, again, ask as really you want to show a lot of interest here. So this is actually going to be where you want the bulk of the interview to take place. I would try to go at least 10, 15 minutes just asking questions, trying to get the nitty gritty of everything that's going on about why they're trying to fill this position. Okay, then when you think that either you've exhausted your questions or they've kind of told you everything they're going to tell you, this is the second critical phase. Okay, this is beautiful. I'm telling you, if someone asked me this question, particularly if they did the previous 2 steps, I would hire them on the spot. Tell them, in 1 year from now, how do you see this problem being solved? Right? And now what you've done, again, psychologically what you've done is you've created the desire for yourself because you've given some of your background, your qualifications. You've scratched their itch or scratched their wound a bit. And now you're saying, well, and what would life look like with this no longer being a problem for you? Meaning someone comes in and they solve this problem, they fill this role, and they do well in it, and this is no longer an issue for you. Then they're gonna, oh my God, like this would be amazing. I could focus on all these other things, and there's other things you can actually do at that point. Once you start talking, you can start to be like, oh, what else do you want to do? Oh, I can work on growing the business. Oh, what are your aspirations for growing the business? Right, and all of a sudden, like again, you're leading them into a position where it's like. And by the way, it's not only highly likely that you're going to get the job. It's also highly likely that you'll be able to command a bigger salary because you're now positioning yourself more as a strategic partner in this role than just kind of like a run-of-the-mill worker or whatever it may be. All right, so that's the step in the process that I would recommend. You do, and I can almost guarantee you will get a job, if not in the first interview, but definitely faster than if you just do it the old-fashioned way. Because everyone else is going to come in, they're going to give their whole history, they're going to ask vague questions and whatever. You want to come and focus, you want to come determined and follow this process, I can almost guarantee you're going to get the job, okay? Okay, so if you like videos like this, you find something like this valuable, please subscribe right in the button below, and leave a comment if you have any questions, and leave a comment if you're going on a job interview and you try this and it works. I want to start filling in, I want to fill in all this video. The comments in this video, I want to fill in with success stories of people who have tried this process and have gotten jobs because of it. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.